Hello everyone and welcome to day 5, which is on the volume of spheres. So first we have a sphere over here to the right. Let's go ahead and mark the center of our sphere, which is right here. That's the center of our sphere. The radius of the sphere is going to be from the center out to any point on the outside of our sphere. So this is our radius. So from center to outside. That distance. To find the volume of the sphere, we're going to use this equation. So volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Since we're dealing in 3 dimensions, that's why we use that cubed. We use it in other ones as well. So that's going to be our formula. So what we really just need is the radius. So let's do number 1. Our radius in this case is 12. That's our radius. So following our volume equation, 4/3 pi r cubed, that's 12 now, so 12 cubed. So I'm going to simplify that. Volume is equal to 4/3 pi. I know 12 cubed is 1,728. Now to simplify this even further, I'm going to group together my two numbers and leave the pi kind of out of it for now. So I'm going to multiply those two together, and I'm going to write it over here so you can kind of see. 4/3 times 1,728. I'm going to put that over 1 because if we want to write a whole number as a fraction, I can put it over 1. So now I need to multiply across. So 4 times 1,728, that is 6,912, and that's all over 3. When I divide that by 3, I get 2,304 as my simplified whole number. So I just multiplied these two together, and when I did that, I got 2,304. Now I'm going to just stick that pi right back on the end, and we'll call it good. For number 2, I still need to identify my radius. I'm given a diameter. Remember, diameter is the distance all the way across that circle. So to get the radius, that's going to be half of that. Half of 10 is 5, so both of these radiuses are 5 and 5 to make the full diameter 10. But I just need to use 1 5. So my radius is my radius is 5 in this one, because I split that 10 in half. So now let's set up my volume equation. 4/3 pi, my r was 5 cubed. Let's go ahead and simplify that. V is equal to 4/3 pi 5 cubed. Remember, cubing something is 5 times 5 times 5 3 times. So 3 5s multiplied together. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So that's that. Now I'm going to multiply my two whole numbers together again, just to get that simplified. So the 4/3 and the 125, multiply those together. So 125 times 4/3, I'm going to put the 125 over 1, and then I'm going to multiply across. So 125 times 4 is 500, and then 1 times 3 is 3. 500 doesn't divide, or 3 doesn't divide into 500 equally, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And I get V is equal to my fun little fraction here, 500 over 3, which is what I got when I multiplied those two together. And then stick a pi on the end. Now sometimes it'll ask you to write this in a decimal form so we can get units. So I'm going to put this in a decimal form as well. When I put this in my calculator, I'm going to do 500 divided by 3 times pi. And when I do that, I get 523.3. And this is in millimeters cubed. So that's the total volume of that sphere. Okay, number 3. Now this one has a weird little radius, but it's still a radius because it goes from the center out to the edge. So that's going to be my r. So for my volume equation, 4/3 pi r cubed, that's my equation. In place of r, I'm going to put in 6x. So volume is equal to 4/3 pi. In place of r, I'm putting 6x, and then cubing it. So let's go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to cube my 6x first because PEMDAS, order of operations, I need to do exponents first. So the 4/3 pi, that's going to stay on the outside. We're not going to deal with that yet. But 6x cubed simplifies to 216, which is 6 cubed, and then x cubed. So I need to cube both of these. So 6 gets cubed and the x gets cubed. Now I can go ahead and simplify this. I need to multiply my 216 times my 4/3, just like I did on the last one. So multiply those together. And I'm going to put 216 over 1 because it's a whole number. Multiply across. 216 times 4 is 864 over 3. When I divide that by 3, I get 288. So nice whole number there. So that was when I just multiplied the 4/3 and the 216. I got 288. So my volume is equal to 288, which was what I got when I multiplied those together. I'm going to put the x cubed next, so that's going to go here. And then the pi just goes on the end. So my full volume equation for this one would be volume is equal to 288 x cubed pi. For number 4, this is a semi-sphere, or half a sphere. This is half. So when I find the volume of the total sphere, to find the volume of the semi-sphere, I just need to cut it in half. So let's do that. Here's my radius, or my r. So volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. So my r is 8, so 4/3 pi 8 cubed. 8 cubed is 512, so volume is equal to 4/3 pi times 512. I'm going to multiply 4/3 times 512. Simplify that. I'm going to put 512 over 1 so I can multiply across. When I do that, I get 2,048 over 3, and that put as a decimal is 682.67, around there. So now my volume, I multiplied these two together, 682.67, and then put a pi on the end. I need to put this in a better decimal form, so that's going to be 2,143.6. That I just multiplied the 682.67 times pi, and I got that. So that's the total volume. This is the total volume of full sphere. But I don't want the full sphere, I want half of that. So to get half of that, I divide it by 2. So when I divide that by 2, I get 1,071.8 millimeters cubed. That's my volume of this sphere. For number 5, again, I need to identify my radius, or my r. That's going to be half of this diameter, so half of that. 8.2 divided by 2 is 4.1, so my radius is 4.1. 4.1. Let's plug this into my volume formula. So 4/3 pi r is 4.1, and then I'm cubing that. 4.1 cubed, putting in my calculator, is, I'm writing everything out, 4.1 cubed is 68.92. Multiply those. So I just went ahead and simplified all of this. I multiplied 68.92 times 4 over 3 times pi, and I got my volume of my full sphere. Remember, this is the full sphere volume, is 288.55 is my total volume. So this is the full sphere. Full sphere. But I want half of the sphere. This is a half of a sphere. So to get the half sphere volume, I divide this by 2, and I get 144.3, and this is in millimeters again, and we're cubing it because it's volume and we're in 3 dimensions. Okay, last example is number 6. So we have a sphere. Here's my sphere. I'm going to draw a circle around it, kind of like this. That's my sphere. I'm told it has a great circle circumference. The great circle is the full distance around the sphere, like I just drew. of 12 pi. So the full distance of the great circle is 12 pi all the way around. I need to find the volume of the sphere. So to find the volume, I first need to find the radius. So to find the radius, when given the circumference, I know that circumference is equal to 2 pi r. I also know that my circumference that they told me my circle is 12 pi. So using these two equations, I can solve for r. So 2 pi r is equal to 12 pi. Both of those circumference equations are equal to each other. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides first, and I get pi r is equal to 6 pi. And I'm still trying to get that r alone, so I'm going to divide by pi on both sides to get that r all by itself. And I get r is equal to 6 because those pi's cross out. So r is 6. Now that I know what my radius is, I can plug that into my volume equation. So 4/3 pi r cubed. Well, I know r is 6, so I'm going to plug that in. So 4/3 pi 6 cubed. Go ahead and simplify this. Volume is equal to 4/3. I'm going to leave that for now. Pi 6 cubed is 6 times 6 times 6, which is 216. So I'm going to multiply that. Now let's multiply my two numbers together so we can get that pi alone. Just ignore the pi for now. So 216 times 4/3. I'm going to put 216 over 1 so I can multiply across. So 216 times 4 is 864. So that's going to be on top. Over 1 times 3, which is 3. Now divide by 3, and we get 288 as my whole number. So when I combine these two, I multiply them together, I got 288 and then a pi on the end, and that's my answer. This is also in inches cubed because volume. And that is it for day 5. So we're all done with the volume unit. See you guys later. Bye!